What's up, guys? Today we're going to be taking a look at the Galaxy S10. It sparked my memory because I finally got the update for the One UI 4.1. It took a minute for some reason, even though this phone is unlocked. But it finally rolled out on this phone, and it's been a pretty smooth experience. I'm going to briefly go over the features for the people that didn't see the previous videos. Briefly go over it for you, and then we're just going to talk about this phone in general. But before that, man, the price on this phone has come down a little bit. As you can see, it's $177. You can get this now, and this is the same version, renewed, refurbished from Amazon. Yeah, it's just awesome. Quality wise, it's really good. But this is pretty incredible for under 200 bucks now. It's absolutely insane here. So I do have the S10 5G coming as well too. I think that completes my Galaxy S10 series, I believe. So really happy about that. All right, so one of my favorite features in One UI is the Smart Widget. So if you hold the screen down, you go to Widgets. Samsung has a Smart Widget option. You can see you have different kind of layouts, but essentially it's just widget stacking, as you can see right here, and I absolutely love it. Hopefully this comes to Android in general because it is a very awesome feature. So if I go ahead and actually hold down, you can see I can remove current widget settings, I can play with it, and then also I can go ahead and add a smart widget here. So let's just say I want to go ahead and add let's say the digital well-being widget right here. So you can see, boom, that is there. And let's see, I want to go ahead and add another one. Let's go ahead and try Chrome bookmarks. Boom. So I just really like this. Instead of having a bunch of widgets everywhere, you have just your widget stacking. It's kind of like iOS. So I really like that. Also, another thing that you guys really need to take advantage of is the blur effect, which I always kind of play with on here. So if you go into Samsung Gallery application here, and we go ahead and click on the three little dots, you can see you'll see a add portrait effect on here, and you can see it just gives you a more focused shot, which I really like. So if you ever need to use this feature to get a more sort of focused shot, you can see I can mess with the intensity. You can see the background is more clear. You can see background blurry now, and that's performance wise, not too much has changed actually. This device has always been really fast. It's just really fluid still, so I can't say that it's been a performance increase because it's always been pretty fast like this. Also, another thing, if you go into settings and battery and device care, hop into memory, you will also see a new feature called the RAM Plus feature. So we can basically add virtual memory to our phone as well too. So so far I've just left it alone. This phone has 8 gigs of RAM, so there's no real reason to add more. But if you want to, you can go to 6, go to 8. If you do a ton of multitasking, definitely take advantage of the RAM Plus feature on here as well. I think it's a really solid feature. Also, the color palette thing is basically, it's pretty self-explanatory. So you can see it's just a little bit well organized, but it's pretty self-explanatory. And there's a ton of other stuff. I've done multiple One UI videos on 4.0 and 4.1. So if you want to know all the features, just type that in the search box, One UI 4.0 or 4.1 Matthews Tech, and those videos will pop up. But so far, my experience has been really good on the Galaxy S10. So again, this will be the last major OS update as well. So just do note that this phone will get 3 years of security patches. So you'll be good for the next 3 years. So I want to talk about the phone in general. So this is one of my favorite phones as far as size-wise because it's pretty interesting. So it's not too small like the S10e for some people. So if you don't want to go too compact, and it's not too big like the S10 Plus, and it doesn't have that double punch hole. This one is a really, really nice screen size at 6.1 inches. Not only that, but it is a full 1440p display, so it's a very, very sharp panel. It looks really beautiful when you're watching content, when you're playing video games on here. Of course, it's Samsung's AMOLED panel on here, top-notch dynamic AMOLED. And it's just a beautiful display to look at, very colorful. Just have a slightly curved, screen to it. But so far, I love the display on here. It's Kind of, in my opinion, very kind of compact. For people with small hands, I don't think it's like too big. I never like feel strained using this phone. So I really do love the display on here. Also, the build quality is pretty good on here. It's a glass and metal device. It still feels very premium as well. And the S10 still remains, or still has, the headphone jack as well too. And it's IP68 dust and water resistant. It's just a beautiful looking phone, especially if you get it in another color. This is not my favorite color, but if you get it in another color, it is really awesome as well too. And as far as the features on here, this phone is still loaded. That's why I said $177. You get Samsung desktop support, wireless desktop support as well too, secure folders, the reverse power sharing, Dolby Atmos, NFC on here. I think the speakers are really top notch on this phone as well too. They sound great, especially for the size of this phone. Just some excellent sounding speakers on here. So this phone does have the Snapdragon 855 and 8 gigs of RAM. It is a very powerful phone when it comes to gaming. I'm gonna drop an updated gaming test for you guys, but I've done one in the past, but I think it was last year. And this phone is gonna do a phenomenal job with gaming. So just do note that if you do want to play games for the cheap on here, I mean, this is a steal. And I tell people this all the time, these older flagships with a Snapdragon 855, 865 will outdo majority of your mid-range phones. So do note that it'll beat them in benchmarks, and it'll beat them in graphic settings for like PUBG and stuff like that, Fortnite, whatever you want to play. It'll do a much better job. So if you're serious about gaming, it really makes more sense to get an older flagship than to get like a Galaxy A52 or an A53 or something like that. It really doesn't make sense. Also, this phone does have SD card support as well too, so you have that expandable storage. The base model is 128 gigs as well too, so you will never run out of storage with this phone essentially. It has NFC. The under the display fingerprint sensor is extremely fast on here. I don't have any issues. You also can take advantage of face unlock on this phone as well too, which I also think is really solid. Let's go ahead and discuss the cameras on this phone, and this is also another Android feature that I really love. Anytime you access the mic or camera, you'll see a little green dot right there as well too. But you also have a 12 megapixel standard lens on here, 12 megapixel telephoto, does 2x, and then a 16 megapixel ultra wide. It shoots in 4K 60 and has a 10 megapixel selfie cam that also shoots in 4K 60. This phone still takes excellent photos, really crispy photos, and also excellent video as well too. I was really impressed with the dynamic range, the image processing, as far as the coloring and stuff like that. You just get some beautiful shots with this phone. I love the cameras on here, especially at the price. I think it is definitely still an excellent camera. The ultra wide is pretty close to the main lens. You get pretty good portrait shots on here. The selfies are pretty good on here. My only issue with the selfie cam is that sometimes I feel like my skin, or the way Samsung does it, is like your skin tone can be a little bit like whitewashed a little bit. So you can edit that, of course, but you know, I've just noticed that with the older Samsung phones is that you can kind of get that kind of like whitewash kind of look. But I think that's how that look goes in Asia. But yeah, so I really like the cameras on here. It's a really, really nice experience for me. Also, let's go ahead and discuss the battery life. So you would think with such a small phone, right? You would think that the battery life wouldn't be that good because it's a 3,400 milliamp battery with 15 watt charging. But it also has wireless charging as well at 15 watts, and then the reverse wireless charging. But this phone easily, and I do mean easily, gets to 6 hours of screen on time. This is not a phone that I've had to like worry about if you're out. It can easily do 6 hours. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to give you like a 2-day, experience and stuff like that. But if you take it off a full charge and leave the house, you come back, the phone will still be fine. It won't die in a day. And again, this is for your moderate, normal user. If you're a heavy gamer, yeah, you could probably kill it in a day. But battery life to me is pretty good on here, so I don't have any issues with that. So I really do like this phone. Like I said, I have the S10 5G. Just wanted to do a refresh for you guys. Be sure to let me know what you guys think of the S10. Do you guys have one? What's your experience been like with this new software update? And I'll catch you guys in the next one.